Howdy everybody, welcome to RacerXOnline.com. I'm Chris Kiefer and this is another garage build, and what we have right here is a 2024 FC350 with all of Husqvarna's technical accessories on this thing. This is Andy Jefferson's steed. He works for Husqvarna Motorcycles, and I thought it'd be a cool build to show you guys what everything they offer for you consumers out there, as well as grab our own Mitch Kendra to ride this thing, because he is a 250 four-stroke rider and he hasn't had much time on a 350, so I thought, why not get Mitchy on here to give you some input on what it's like to ride a 350 if you're coming off of a 250 four-stroke. So as you can see, all of Husqvarna's, I don't say all, but most of Husqvarna's accessory line is on here, from the gray plastic, split triple clamps, FMF 4.1 system. They have a blue chain, Renthal blue sprocket, all kinds of different oil plugs, FCP engine mounts. You may or may not see a different frame on here, but we're not going to talk about that because the 350 doesn't have that. But AER revalve forks, track shock, and even down to the wheels and the hubs. And we got disc guards. It's all tricked out right here. It looks really good. I never thought I would like a gray Husqvarna, but man, it looks really nice. And this thing even comes with a connectivity unit that the factory editions will be coming with in 2024.5, even though Husqvarna, KTM, they're not coming out with a 350 factory edition. But why not add a little spice to our 350 build here? So I thought this is a really cool build to talk to you about how it runs. I really want to break down the fork and the shock, tell you guys how that works out here at Glen Helen Raceway today. But the meat of this is going to be about Mitch riding this 350, what he feels like, and basically, does it get Mitch more tired than riding his Yamaha YZ250F? A lot of you guys email me and say, hey Kiefer, is a 350 the right choice for me? Well, today we're going to find out. Between me and Mitch, we'll give you some good feedback and see exactly if a 350 is too much for a 250F rider, and if my preferred 450 mind would like a 350cc fury of power here at Glen Helen Raceway. So stay tuned, we'll be right back, we'll break it all down. All right, we're wrapping it up. To the right of me is Mitch Kendra, our RacerX Senior Online Content Manager. Just got a promotion, congratulations.
Thank you.
He's the man behind what you see here online, so very important job for us over at RacerX. But also, I like to bring guys in from time to time when we do these garage builds that don't get to ride a lot, that may want to try new bikes. Some of you guys know that I'll just go to tracks at times and ask people to ride it, and now you're in a video. It's that simple, because I feel like you guys out there are way more like Mitch than you are like me. I get to ride a lot, ride all different kinds of motorcycles. But Mitch, he tells me he's been on the couch a little bit. He lives back east, so give us your background and what you ride at home.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, back east, Pittsburgh for us. Just hit a snowstorm as the day I was flying out here for Anaheim, so I kind of lucked out there. But the weather in Pittsburgh, like, you don't get to ride from November until March, April, depending on the, sometimes we'll get snow and rain back then. But yeah, back home I got a 2021 YZ250F. Like you mentioned, I'm more of a 250F guy. I've tested a couple other bikes here and there. I actually have I'm kind of the Ken Roxon of the GNCC world.
Okay.
I did an Ampro Yamaha 250 ride a couple years ago, and then Kawasaki saw that, and then I did Josh Strang's 450 ride.
Making these guest appearances there.
Yeah, that one was really interesting because that was first time ever on a 450, and I did GNCC, and it was muddy and slippery, and that was a little bit of I took the L on that one, but we made it through safely. And then, so then last year I actually rode Thad Duvall's 350 gas
okay,
at the High Point GNCC. So again, kind of bounce around different bikes. Again, kind of weekend warrior type guy. Ride during the week. At my parents' house, we have a little single path, a couple jumps here and there, but it's not, I'm not out here testing, grinding away like you guys. It's kind of far in between. When I get to ride, I go into the races and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to ride when I can. I'm in pretty good cardio shape, but I mean, a track at home versus a track here, like breaking bumps and all jumps and everything, it beats me up pretty good. So got in some good seat time today. I think we had to fill it up twice with gas, so tried to give it a good solid test.
Yeah, so basically you guys out there, hey Kiefer, I want a job in the industry. Here's Mitch. in the industry, has a nice job, doesn't get to ride a lot. This is what happens when you get a job in the industry. You're in it, you're like, I love dirt bikes. Now you're so busy you don't get to ride. I'm a little bit luckier than Mitch, I get to ride a lot, but most of you guys go all week, 5 days a week, and then you go ride on the weekend. So I grabbed Mitch to ride the 350 to see if it's too much for him to ride on the 250 side, and what better way to present him a 350 than this 2024 FC 350 build that has all of the Husqvarna technical accessories on here. I mean, there is some stuff that I don't think I can even talk about. I mean, I don't even know what I can talk about on the suspension side, but this fork is amazing. I know WP is working on a fork for the future, so can't talk much about the fork, even though it's a revalved air, so we'll leave that out of it. But what's really cool is Mitch and I are one of the first ones to try the new factory edition frame that is coming on the 2024 KTM 250 SXF and 2024.5 250 and 450. So no, don't get excited. They're not going to make a 350 factory edition, but Husqvarna built this from the ground up with the new frame, and I have some comments about the frame. But Mitch, hopping on the 350, first things first, do you like the looks of the motorcycle?
I do like it. I like the gray. Personally, I wish they would have like more gray on the, like front fender. It's just, I don't know, I wish a little bit more gray.
Yeah.
So just a match. I feel like the Husky factory team had, the white fender last year, then they had the black here. This year they've all white. I think one solid color. But otherwise, I like the blue is cool.
I never thought a blue chain would look good on a motorcycle, especially Husqvarna, but to me, I think it looks pretty
I had never
nice.
seen that before, just with no, there's some trick stuff on here that I don't get to see all the time, so it was pretty cool. I do like the blue seat and everything. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel with this.
Yeah, the hump.
And I really didn't notice it quite as much, but I noticed not having it when I was on the Honda 450 for a few laps, so I guess it was more noticeable than I realized at first. But overall, like I said, it was a cool bike. Comparing it to my 250 back home, it's just a little bit more power. I think I was using second, third gear a lot, just pulls a little bit longer, like kind of we talked about. But yeah, suspension, like you mentioned, I don't know the technical parts of it, but I know they couldn't set the sag to where they wanted to because I'm skinnier.
Yep.
How
much do you weigh?
Right now, probably 161, 162.
Okay. 160 pounds,
yeah, between 165, 155, depending on how I'm working out, but a little bit thinner, so they were kind of joking right. They couldn't get the sag right, but we got as close as we could, and again, I know the forks are a little bit touchy. That's what my brother actually emailed him.
Yeah.
Chris is good at getting back to people, I'll tell you that. He's a busy man, but he gets back to people. But even, it's kind of, I don't have a ton of time on the air forks, but I know they're tricky to deal with.
Yes.
And for me coming out here, they just set the sag and were like, get at it. I felt pretty comfortable. I was hitting some of the jumps, just testing some things out speed-wise and length-wise, and I was able to hit some stuff pretty comfortably. And
so it didn't take you that long to get used to the motorcycle?
No, just in this first time in California, so kind of getting used to the dirt is a little one thing, and then getting used to the bike. Just took a couple laps. I think at the very end there I was doing a lot better than I was in the beginning, but yeah, it was pretty quick to adapt to it. It's pretty friendly, like I said. If you want to lug it kind of more like a 450, you can. If you want to ride a little bit faster, I'm not a high-speed guy. I'm more of a C-level rider, so I'm not hard on the throttle. I'm not hard on stuff. So for me, like this bike, if I was heavier, I'd say go with this bike, but 160, 165, I don't really need that, but for my speed and weight and everything. But yeah, I think it was a really awesome bike to ride. Like I said, just getting right on it.
Yeah, for me, so like a 350 size is, I don't want to say perfect, because there's nothing really perfect in the testing and motorcycle world, but for me, it's almost perfect for a wide range of guys. Mitch is 160, I'm 175 pounds. I put my buddy that's 210 pounds on it, and he can ride it and have enough power to get him and pull him across, jumps here at Glen Helen or anywhere you go. If you're a vet rider, you already kind of know what you're going to jump when you show up. You're not sitting there until 12 o'clock going, man, I know I can jump that. I think I'm going to pull the trigger at 1:30. No, you're going to make your mind up at 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know what you're going to do. There's plenty of power here. What I noticed, just for me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the frame because I'm excited because I haven't got to ride one of the factory edition frames yet, but for me, there is way more compliance and edge of tire comfort with this chassis versus the older chassis. So with the standard 2024 KTM 350, for me at Glen Helen, when it gets edgy and I got to cut across the bumps, I notice that there's always some deflection or some harshness or rigidity. Coming down these hills, I'm loading the chassis and I get, just a rigid feel. I'm not saying all of that is gone, but a big portion of that feeling has been removed from the previous generation frame with this new frame. So I personally think there's more comfort for the general consumer. This chassis is in the right direction. I think we're kind of going back to the early days of 2020, 2021, where you have more compliance, maybe a little bit stiffer, but still have enough comfort for us if we really want to load the chassis. So I like that. I know, Mitch, you haven't had much time on a KTM before, but do you notice anything different from your Yamaha as far as vibration or just comfort in general?
I mean, my stock Yamaha back home, I didn't even change anything with the suspension. So like coming onto this where they did amp it up a little bit, it was a little bit smoother. And again, I'm on the vet track, so I'm not out there hammering out the hard track. But really, like I said, I know the Yamaha has a lot of low end power. And this one, like I said, I was in second gear, I think, a lot. And sometimes I couldn't tell if I was in second or third because it's such a long gear.
So it pulls so long,
yeah, I couldn't remember if I was shifting, and then I come out of turn and it bogged down. So I'm like, all right, I'm too high of a gear. So, but I'm, like I said, pretty comfortable jumping right off it or right onto it. And then I did a couple laps in the 450 Honda, and then jumped onto this. And like you mentioned, the 450 Honda just kind of, that will throw me off the back and loop out and everything. And I was kind of nervous to hit some of the jumps, and I jumped right back on this. The handlebars feel good. You know, I was asking you about the fat grips and the handlebars on the Honda. Yeah, this is really comfortable. Like you mentioned, just testing out some stuff, jumping stuff, it felt comfortable. And then going back to the Honda, I went up the hills and it was just real bumpy and real, like, again, you throw me off the back.
The track.
Yeah, and this one I jumped on it and I was like, all right, kind of bracing for it, and it was a lot smoother, and I was just able to, again, not a big guy, so I wasn't able to hammer down in the 450. So this was like, I could feel a little bit like more that like plush feeling, I think, like the cloud feeling, instead of like really hammering and hitting everything hard.
And that's a good thing what Mitch was talking about. So for me, I rode the Honda Sierra 450 RWE today, and we did a test on that, and then we hopped on this later in the day. And that's one thing I noticed right away, kind of like Mitch, hopping back on this. I was thinking, oh, I want to feel down on power going up these hills. Man, it is exciting power. It's right there. There's a lot of recovery. It revs forever in second gear. I can shift third early. This is a stock engine, so there's nothing done to it. Chassis parts, obviously new factory edition type frame with FCP mounts. And for me, man, there's just a lot of compliance, and then it's a very friendly engine power. It has a lot of excitement, yet you can be lazy because you can leave it in second gear for a very long time. So as a 450 guy, we always talk about third gear being the magic gear. Well, in this case, I almost think second gear is the magic gear for this bike because it pulls so dang far. So downshift to second, I can't get my foot under the shifter. I'm lazy, I'm tired. Just rev it out, you're good. I think you almost can make it down the straightaway in second gear because this thing pulls so dang far. Certain things that we don't get to talk about sometimes, and I kind of stumbled onto this stuff when we have this bike, WP is always evolving their suspension. I think this fork is more on the test side of the spectrum for the R&D side. So I can't talk a lot about the fork, but I can tell you what, it is a lot of comfort within this air fork. So for me, I've been hard on air fork technology for a long time, but as it progresses, it's getting better and better. A lot of these Supercross guys we see on Saturday night, they're going to air forks for Supercross, for hold up and for plushness. I just talked to Phil Nicoletti over the weekend, and he was saying, man, I like PSF1 KYB fork over my spring fork because I have hold up and that initial plushness. This WP fork has that feel, although I don't know exactly what's inside of it or can tell you. There is a lot of that character within this fork. Movement is nice, there's not a lot of crust, and then just slap down comfort is really good through my handlebars. So overall, the function of the bike is really good. The looks of it I like. I never thought I'd like a gray Husqvarna, but there's so much to be had if you go over to Husqvarna's website and you have all these technical accessories that you can buy. I mean, I don't think any other manufacturer does it as well as Husqvarna, KTM, and the Gas Group. There's so much stuff to be had. If you're a vet rider and you want to say, I'm very proud to ride a Husqvarna, trust me, you can buy whatever you want in the Husqvarna brand, from plastic to little trinkets on the bike, oil plugs, whatever. I'm sure they have toasters for you if you want a dang toaster. So they got it all. So very fun FC350 to ride. Thank you to the guys over at Husqvarna. And before we leave here, anything you want to add, Mitch?
No,
Mitch wants to move to California without the cost and ride dirt bikes more. So Davey, if you're out there, Mitch would love to ride dirt bikes more. I'm just throwing it out there, Davey, just in case. We'll be back with more garage builds, of course. We're going to try to get some more, some different flavors for 2024. So don't forget to subscribe to Racer X Magazine. 12 issues, $30, Mitch. Get a calendar, and you get to see a lot of stuff within the magazine that you can't online. So don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to If you have a question, chris@KieferInkTesting.com is my email. I'm happy to answer them. No, I'm not going to talk to you about the forks, so don't email me about them, because that'll be the heading. Kiefer, forks. Nope, not going to talk about it. Don't even email me. But if you have a question about this 350, I'm happy to help you guys out, and we'll see you on the next garage build.